day, I had a fan who was suggesting that she should be married. What's your take on all that?
I said I ended up being a third baby mother too, and I'm after I wouldn't change it for nothing in the world, because at the end of the day, I wouldn't have had the 3 kids that I had with this man, and I feel like my kids are the most amazing kids, and I don't regret it, and I also became his only and first wife. So to be his third baby mama, it didn't bother me then, and it damn sure don't bother me now. I'm living a life that I feel great about, and I'm happy. So I feel like she is gonna follow in my footsteps. She has followed in my footsteps, and if she does, I don't feel like she's gonna regret anything. She's gonna.
Hello, lovelies. I am Queen Lovely. Welcome back to my Patreon, Queen Lovely Speaks. For those of you that are new here, welcome. Thank you so much for supporting my platform. I appreciate you. If you have topic requests, feel free to leave them underneath this video or shoot me an email or a messenger on the Patreon app. The Patreon app is a quick and efficient way to access my content, but if you don't feel like doing that, you can always just access it manually from typing in the URL. This platform will become a strictly entertainment hub, so it will be celebrity tarot readings, it will be celebrity spiritual advising sessions, as well as commentary videos such as this on hot topics that pique my interest or things that you find interest in. As this platform grows and the viewership and the engagement becomes more consistent, we will have exclusive live streams where we'll cut up and have fun, and of course my free content will be the more substantial content that is aligned with my Melanated Crowns brand, which is about women activating their divine femininity through mental, emotional, and spiritual wellness. So today I want to talk about a snippet of an interview I seen with Tiny. So this has been a topic for quite some time, and I wanted to speak on it. Zonnique, who is Tiny Harris. Tiny Harris is the wife of T.I. Harris. Tiny has her own identification and reputation from being in the hit smash group, R&B group Escape. And basically, Tiny, she's married to T.I., and she had a daughter prior to getting in a relationship with T.I., and that daughter was Zonnique. Now, Zonnique is pregnant, okay? I don't follow Zonnique, and, I'm not really into the celebrities the way I used to be, but there are things that come across my desk, or they're talked about, or someone will send me something from the shade room, the neighborhood talk, whatever the case may be. And I wasn't familiar with Zonnique's relationship with this rap. I don't even know if he's a rapper or not, so let me not even jump the gun. But she's in a relationship with a dude, and apparently the dude that she's in a relationship with already has 2 kids by 2 separate women, and there are allegations that he doesn't even really take care of those kids or provide for those kids. They're saying he's a deadbeat, allegedly. So when I found out Zonnique was pregnant by him, I was just like, oh my God, there were already so many red flags, and now she's pregnant. Now, life happens. No one goes into a situation, or at least I would hope, no woman goes into a situation wanting to be the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 5th mother of a man's child. No one goes into a situation wanting dysfunction in a broken family or an unsteady foundation. But that is what we see on the horizon for Zonnique, because the writing is on the wall. If he did not have the discipline, number one, I always look at men a little funny who don't have the discipline and the responsibility to make sure that they lay all their eggs with at least one person. Now, granted, things can happen. You can have a child very early in your life, like when you're in your teens, your early 20s, and then later on in life, when you finally meet a man or a woman and settle down, you can have 2 or 3 more kids. Life happens. I'm not bashing anyone who has multiple kids with multiple men or women, because I do understand that life happens, and there really is no one size fits all, narrative or solution or reasoning for the decisions that people make with their body and the way in which they continue their lineage. So I just want to, preface that and say that I am not bashing Zonnique for having her child. things just happen. I know a lot of people personally that have a child later on in life or early in life, and yeah, it may not be the best situation, but you want your child, and every woman has a right to say, I want to keep my child no matter what the circumstances are. God makes no mistakes. You know, every child is sent here for a divine purpose and a sole reasoning. With that being said, my opinion and analysis about the situation is a generational curse that is not being broken. Tiny does an interview with On Site. I think it was on Site or whatever the case may be, or maybe she did the interview with someone else, and the video clip that I seen just happened to be from the On Site blog. And she basically was talking about that she really does not have an issue with Zonnique being the third baby mama, because she was the third baby mama. And even though she was T.I.'s third baby mama, she ended up being his first and only wife. So I have a few issues with this statement that she made. First and foremost, Tiny is presenting herself as someone who subscribes to the ideology that I'm the wife, I have the ring, so yeah, y'all could call me stupid, y'all could call me this, but at the end of the day, I'm his wife, I have the ring. If something was to happen to this man today, it's my name on the paperwork, me and my kids are going to be good, we're going to be stable, I know what I'm doing. And multiple truths can coexist at once. I'm not saying that any of that is false, but what I will say is this, Tiny. You have to lead by example. And see, it's one thing when we are walking our path by ourselves and the only person that we are responsible for is self, and we choose to engage in toxicity and dysfunction to our soul, to our spirit, to our emotional and mental state. And then it's like, okay, whatever, I'm in this relationship where this man is this, that, and the third, that's my business, fine. But you have 3 daughters now. You have 3 daughters, okay? So you have to lead by example, because you are their first encounter of womanhood. You, their aunt, T.I.'s sister was, and the grandmother. That's just how it works. Like, when I think of my first encounters with womanhood, I think of my mom and I think of my aunts, okay? And even some of my cousins as well, because my mom is the baby. So a lot of my first cousins are grown women. They was grown-ass women when I was just a kid. And to whom much is given, much is expected. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. So you've been fortunate and blessed to have all of these children, and it is your responsibility to not only financially pour into your family and, you know, subscribe to, well, they in this house, they're going to private schools, we're throwing them parties, they got the latest clothes, but you also want to pour into them on a soul level and instill wisdom and values and morale in them. And I'm not going to come for your parenting, because, you know, my nana always said you never tell somebody how to raise their kids, but you said out your own mouth that she's following in your footsteps. And I'm sorry, from what we know and what you show us, that doesn't give me much hope for the future of your lineage when it comes to women. It just doesn't. Yeah, you don't regret your children. You shouldn't regret your children. Yeah, you've made peace with your situation. Fine. I don't want you to walk the rest of this sole purpose that you have, you know, having regrets and, you know, beating yourself down. I don't want anyone that. If you've come to the peace with your relationship dynamic with Tip and the kids, whatever, that's beautiful. But I would just think that you would want more for Zonnique. And granted, I don't expect Tiny to bash her daughter in the public. I just don't. And she shouldn't. You know what I mean? So I'm going to be objective and say it's very possible that Tiny is disappointed or she is hurt, but she's just not showing it and communicating that to us. And she really doesn't have to. She does not owe us shit, okay? It's none of our business. But when you announce to the public that I'm pregnant, I'm having a baby, and you already know what time it is, you must want public opinion, because Zonnique could have just carried this baby and then just popped up with the baby, and it would have been what it would have been. And granted, playing devil's advocate again, people would have talked 4 months, 5 months from now, because I think she's 4 months pregnant, and people are talking now. So people are going to talk regardless. It's just inevitable because they're famous, because they're public figures. People just always going to feel entitled to have an opinion, and sometimes it's not going to be nice. But I just worry about the messaging. Like, she's following in my footsteps. Tiny, you are a disappointment when it comes to womanhood, because you are still living in this mindset that because you marry T.I., you really have to put up with financial abuse, you have to put up with emotional abuse, and you have to put up with disrespect. This man has stepped outside of your marriage several times. He has disrespected you, okay, on a lot of levels. He has, stepped in when it's come to his other because Deja's not her daughter, so I think she has 2 daughters, excuse me. He has overstepped those, like, T.I. just does not respect the divine feminine. He does not respect what it means to be a woman, especially in present day 2020. Now, I'm not with all of the feminist shit. Women are equal to men. I don't believe that. I want a man to be a man, but I need men, especially black men, to understand being a man does not mean overcompensating and exuding toxic masculinity to the point where you are hemorrhaging a woman's divine femininity. Okay, let me say that again. I have no problem with a man being a man. I understand, especially as a black man in this white supremacist society, you are constantly going out into the world and being ridiculed by the black man. And I could understand how that makes you feel susceptible and vulnerable to come home and perform those same oppressive tactics on your wife, which out of 9 out of 10 times, or sometimes she ain't even your wife, she's just your child's mother, your significant other, whatever, is a black woman. You feel the need to beat us physically, emotionally, and mentally. I understand, but while I could express compassion and empathy, black men, I'm calling y'all to the carpet, and y'all have to be held accountable, because look how it's trickling down on your lineage. Zonnique does not view marriage as important. She feels like marriage is a bigger commitment than a baby. She feels like marriage, something you could get annulled, you could get a legal separation, you could get a divorce. She feels like that's a smaller commitment than opening her legs and allowing this low value man to put a baby in her, linking them together for the rest of their lives, as long as this baby is on their earth, and even after the fact, God forbid. And that mindset is a result of a subconscious seed that was planted in her years ago of fear and lack of trust in the divine masculine, because you did not properly execute your masculinity in that household. She has watched her mother be cheated on. She has watched her mother be disrespected. She has watched her mother be undermined. She has watched people clown her mother in the public and become a felon. Tiny done took charges for you, all types of things. And if she's not a felon, excuse me for that. Allegedly, I know she took a charge for T.I. So I apologize. Y'all can correct me below. But she's done seen all of that. She's seen all of that. So subconsciously, the seed of, this is what marriage is. Hell no, I don't want that, is being planted in her, because she's thinking, damn, after all of this, my mother can't get away from this man. Not because of the babe, like, she can't get away from this man. And she probably thinks that Tiny can't get away from T.I. because they married. Tiny probably said something to her like, it's not that simple, we're married. So Zonnique is downloading that in her head like, hell no, I don't want to get married. I have my baby, I could just get up and leave anytime with me and my child. It'll just be what it'll be. Because remember, before Tiny got married to T.I., it was her and Zonnique. And whatever situation Tiny was in with Zonnique's father, Tiny was able to get up and leave and hence go and meet T.I. So Zonnique subconsciously is thinking, as long as I don't marry this man, at any point when shit get real and go left, God forbid, I'm not wishing that on her and their situation, I could just take my child and leave just like my mother did. But what Zonnique is failing to realize, it's history repeating itself, and it's not a good history. There's a brokenness in y'all bloodline, in y'all lineage that needs to be thoroughly addressed. And Tiny needs to have a level of self-awareness so that she can be held accountable and instill better in her daughters. I don't have no problem with Zonnique deciding to keep her child. I really don't. But I am disappointed that Tiny, like, my whole thing is, sometimes it's just best to say nothing. Sometimes it's just best to say, that's my daughter, mind your business. Because like I said, I don't expect Tiny to bash or lay into Zonnique's decisions in the public. She shouldn't have to. She don't owe us shit. But I also don't expect you to perpetuate a narrative that it's okay for her to be the third BM and she's following in your footsteps as if your footsteps is like you're walking on gold. Sweetheart, your marriage is a mess. That man does not respect you. That man does not respect you. You are the poster child of what not to be. And that's just what it is. And this is not me attacking Tiny. This is not me coming down on her. She needs to do some deep introspection and see, where did this start? I would love to see, I don't know if Tiny talks to her mom. Like, I don't watch the Tip Family Hustle Friends, whatever the fuck it is. I don't watch that. But I would like to see, what was Tiny seeing growing up? What was Tiny seeing growing up that subconsciously she has been able to make excuses to say her marriage dynamic with T.I. is okay? Because it's not. It's not okay. And I just hope that Zonnique is able to break that pattern. I have a feeling Zonnique is going to have a girl. She may be having a boy, but I have a feeling she's going to have a girl. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here and say that. Congratulations. Life is beautiful. Life is beautiful. You never know. Should I always look at Tina and be like, damn, did Tina know she was going to give birth to Beyonce? Did Joe Jackson and Catherine know they was going to give birth to Michael Jackson? Did Diana Ross' mother know she was going to give birth to her? You never know what your child is going to do and how your child is going to impact people's lives and the world for the better. So I'm happy that Zonnique is keeping her baby. But I just want there to be some healing. I want there to be discussions. I want there to be introspection. Okay? So shout outs to y'all once again for signing up for my Patreon, being part of the Queen Lovely Speaks. It is one flat price of $3 a month. I will be dropping more content like this. I hope y'all are enjoying it so far. If y'all want me to talk about anything, just let me know. If it's something that piques my interest, I'll come on here and give commentary. And please continue to support. Love y'all very much. For my black women that's on my Patreon, if y'all are into improving yourself emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, you definitely want to be subscribed to my YouTube channel, where I'm going to be dropping so many things. We're going to have a tarot season about the black family dynamics, the breakdown between the black mom and her black daughter, the black father and his black son, black father and his black daughter, black mom and her black son, a father being like, we gonna talk about a lot of different things. I'm really excited. So yeah, thank you for supporting and have a lovely day.